My name is Missy. I'm a little excited about this reading today because I've wanted to get this particular deck here for a while. It's the Mystic Martian Oracle. So what we're going to do is a pick a card reading. We're going to look at your starseed origins. I want to look at what are your starseed origins, and more specifically beyond that, because I've always been very interested in starseeds. I have to admit I don't know a whole lot about them, which is the reason that I wanted this particular deck. But beyond that, you know, what are the crystals that are best suited for each starseed, right? So I want to ask that question today, which is why we have these two decks here. But more importantly, the reason that I'm doing this introduction is because of this particular deck. I just want to warn you before we get into the reading that this deck here is going to be a little bit explicit. It is called, as you can see, I'm not going to say what the title is. It's nicely bleeped out for me right there on the cover of the book. So as you can tell from the title, you know, it's not going to be for the faint of heart, which is exactly what it says on the back of the deck. But it's an awesome deck. Just give it a chance. If you're okay with some explicit content, give it a chance. So this is the box for that particular deck here, and what it says, in case it's not abundantly obvious, this deck is not for the faint of heart. If you clutch your pearls at the sight of aliens wielding phallic probes, this may not be the deck for you. However, if you possess a cosmic one capable of abducting farmers from their land and love all things ray gun and UFO, this deck will help you embrace your power and delve into your own psyche. So we're going to do a reading today looking at the starseed archetypes from this deck. And I want to ask, you know, not just what the starseed archetype is, and we're going to read from the book to see, it has some explanations in there. But I also kind of want to ask, what are you supposed to do with that? As well as, what are the crystals that are best suited for you? And we're going to do it in a pick a card format for each sign. So you'll see this introduction multiple times if you're watching for your sun, moon, and rising, or if you're cross-watching for other signs. Yeah, I think I've said everything that I need to say, other than these readings are meant to be timeless and general in nature. So if the details for this reading fit for your personality, right, because your personality or your situation, because that's really what you're looking at here with these archetypes. So like I say, I wanted to explain that I am not an expert on starseeds. That's the reason that I bought this book. I'm learning about it with you watching this video, or maybe you know more than I do about it. Maybe I'm learning about it and just sharing what I'm learning here with you. But I thought we could explore it together. So you know, just take what comes from this reading only if it resonates for you. If it doesn't resonate for you, don't try to push it. Don't try to force it. You'll do more harm than good. And obviously, I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or accountant. So if you have questions concerning that kind of stuff, you really need to see a professional. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Before we get completely into the reading, I want to go ahead and read what it says about starseeds here in the book. Let's see. Okay, so it says, starseeds prior to this or other Earth incarnations have experienced life elsewhere in cosmos other than Earth. Some starseeds have recall activated in their DNA due to Earth's limited recall access biosphere from ancient historical collective trauma. Others have no actual memories at all. All starseeds have an inkling, sensing, or knowing that this incarnation at some point originated and belongs to something somewhere far bigger. Many starseeds have an inner awareness level of consciousness development outside of the predictable mainstream narratives. Starseeds are typically spiritual in nature and have healing energies. Some are very new souls on Earth, while others are very old souls that have experienced many contracted incarnations on Earth to evolve and pass on ancient esoteric wisdoms. The newer souls will be continuing the older souls' work. Different starseeds will naturally resonate towards different aliens and galactic alliances. It is not uncommon for awakening starseeds to have dreams, memories of traveling AT crafts, or experiences of UFO encounters. Starseeds are here now to assist in the transitioning and activation of the collective consciousness on Earth. So, based on what it says there, I'm taking this to mean that, you know, you can belong to one particular starseed family but have interactions from many others. Hello, Cancer. We're starting off with Bruno Mars, Leave the Door Open. And we haven't even gotten to the portion yet where we're giving you which group to choose from. So I think this is for everyone watching this, all Cancers watching it, or even probably the cross watchers. What we're going to do is we're going to get 3 groups to choose from and 3 crystals. So just give me a minute to get these nice and shuffled. It's interesting that this song is coming through, and I really did not intend for there to be any like romantic anything with these readings, but I guess it kind of makes sense that it would come through in some of them. This one wants to come out. Okay. Oh. Hold on a second. There's just so many that want to come out with that 3rd group. There's 3 of them here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take it. But I feel like this top one that I pulled is actually the main energy. So we just kind of have to remember that as part of the reading, that there's one energy that is a main energy and the others are like secondary. I didn't even realize how crooked those are. I haven't even looked over at the camera. Guess I should pay attention, huh? Because that would drive me nutty. Just breathe with me. I know some people don't really like the silence and others do. This is just how I read. It actually makes for a much better reading if I just do it the way I normally would, which means there's going to be some periods of silence. For sure, like, at least with this song, there's like, someone is like really, either in love with someone else or you have someone who loves you very much. All right, so that's group 3. My dog almost knocked my table or my thing over, so I apologize for the shaky camera. I guess it's not too bad, right? He just walked into it. Okay. All right, group 1, group 2, and group 3. Okay, hi group one. We have the song What's Up for Non-Blondes. So we're going to get to charms later in the read. If I haven't explained that already, we're going to look first at your star family and your crystals, which I gotta say I'm loving the colors that are coming through for you immediately. They're very bright, just beautiful. So this is the Tau Setians. Tau Setians. Let me get my book because we're going to read from the book to see what it says about them. We know from the keywords here that it says that they are resilient, bold, and sassy. And I just realized, hold on, that I forgot to put my microphone on. Okay. So the Tau Setians, it says Tau Setians predominantly reside in the Cetus constellation, which is the whale, which is relatively near Earth, only 12 light years away. It says, though it is suggested some reside on Epsilon in the Eridanus constellation. They are humanoid with an olive tanned complexion and black hair. Some say they look Mediterranean, Slavic, or South American in appearance. Like Pleiadians, they have slightly pointed ears. Their build is very solid, typically with strong, brawny legs. Their noses are broad, and they mostly have short, Roman crew-style haircuts. Tau Setians prefer to reside in secluded dwellings. They are in alliance with Pleiadians and other off-planet societies who have shared similar historical experiences of being preyed upon during draconian invasions. The Tau Setians' history of being victimized by a predatory species is still raw, and they are still battling wounds. Their intense grudge in this area is very obvious. Their focus is on raising awareness of covert mind control techniques, and they are concerned about the small grays, I should say. They talk in a very guttural tone and are very demonstrative and audacious when talking. Their motherships are huge plasma crafts. Tau Setians are known to be brilliant pilots and galactic navigators. So it says the card meaning can be combative, bold, resilient, outspoken, speaking your truth, intense, having conviction, being blunt, candid, sassy, and assertive. And the reversed meaning is belligerence, holding a grudge, antagonistic, insensitive, bombastic, blathering, and overly defensive. Hold on, we have the song Stars by 6 a.m. Okay, so to have that together with Labradorite, and Labradorite is all about free will, kind of very much makes sense, right? Especially if, you know, they have been victimized before in some way. Labradorite is a stone that closely associates with the moon and intuition. It also feels very creative. The color, to me, the color is very bright. And it seems to have the full spectrum of the rainbow as well. So, and there's a very artistic, creative feel here. Hold on one second. It's exactly 11:33 as I was getting ready to look at my phone. I was looking at the lyrics here real quick. Hold on. It's talking about, do you want to see heaven tonight underneath those lights? You would look so beautiful. Do you want to see the stars before they fall? See the stars before they fall. Very interesting that that's coming out, you know, in a starseed reading, because we are talking about, you know, starseeds or whatever. But yeah, there's something very creative here as well. And then it's talking about 6 a.m. stars, so maybe your creativity is well received in some way. At least that's how I'm picking it up, like, because that's part of the question that we're asking is how are you supposed to use this energy? And I think that it's definitely coming through in some way. You're an artist in some way. If it's not with actual like color, like paint, I would say that you're an artist in some other way, and it's probably very well received. Let's see what else we can get, though. Actually, what I want to do is I want to see if there are any other crystals. Not everyone is going to like labradorite or want to work with it, so let's just see what other crystals would be good for you. And again, to be clear, because I do not know a lot about star seeds, these are the crystals and whatever I'm reading here in this reading event for those who are actually watching this reading, not everyone who identifies as being from the Tao Setians. And I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, to be honest with you. We're learning together. All right, well, that's actually quite a few, but I think we're going to take it. We have Crocite on the bottom of the deck. Look at how it totally corresponds to with this card. And I have to say, Crocite is a expensive and hard to find stone. But you could see that the meaning or the keyword here is passion. So obviously it's talking about there's something that you're very passionate about, that you're some sort of creative pursuit that you're very passionate about. I can't tell if that's focused or not. And we have the song Butterflies. Kaylee Morg. Why do I keep making that crooked? And then I look up at the thing on the table, it looks like it's crooked here, and then I look at the camera and it's actually crooked on the camera. Look at all the different colors coming through again. Yeah, definitely there's some, and the way that these two are completely aligning there, and then you've got these with the Crocite aligning here. So I feel like we need to read them this way, actually, because the color families are so, although you can take this one to tie them together, I think there's two separate fields maybe where you have some sort of creative skill. Okay, so one of which you're very passionate about. So we have patience and physical radiance. So this has something to do with beauty here. That's number one. And again, see, I just made it crooked there crooked on camera when it's, I gotta fix my thing before I try to do the next read. Okay. I think when the dog knocked into it, that's what it was. I don't know if that was on camera or not. I'm pretty sure I said something about it. But anyway, so over here we have, ooh, look at patience, silence, focus. So if this is beauty, it's not something where you're speaking, at least. Maybe you make beauty products. Silence and focus with free will. This really feels psychic to me, I'm not gonna lie. It feels so psychic on this side here. So maybe there's something about beauty products that you make that are, like, you use your intuitive gifts in order to create them in some way. Either that or you are a psychic, like maybe you work, like you do psychic work also, but there's something about what you make. Okay. Or if it's not actually making, if it's not making beauty products, you could be like, you could be a model, or you could take photographs, right? Because I feel like photographs or pictures are coming through very clearly, right? It just feels strong on this side. There's an element of like photography coming through in some way that has to do with beauty, but that's typically a photography, even when you're photographing something very tragic, there is a beauty in it. I tell people all the time there is a type of beauty in in death and endings, right? I'm a Scorpio rising, and so having Scorpio placements is a very difficult, it's a difficult placement to have, because endings come about so frequently for us, especially Scorpio risings. We do deal with a lot of like transformations. We have to change quite a bit due to different endings. Sometimes those are endings that we bring about because we know that they need to happen, right? But it's a very difficult thing to go through endings on a regular basis, right? So I don't know why it's coming through very strong, other than the fact that there's a lot of red energy here. Actually, there's a lot of red and yellow energy, and we had free will come through first here. So I do feel like there's something about like Mars energy as well coming through. So maybe you have, your Mars is placed in Scorpio, or maybe 8th house, or you have some sort of aspect to your Mars that is very creative, right? Maybe edgy creative is how it feels with the color over here. Even though you do have this rhodonite pink coming through, that's where the beauty comes in. Let's go ahead and get some cards, because I do feel that there's something, it's very psychic energy coming through here. And that's really what I want to ask about, because I feel like I feel like this I kind of understand, right? I want to know, how can you explore this more? I think this can definitely tie in over here, but how, right? And it's interesting too, the song that's been playing in the background as I was talking about how sometimes death and endings can be beautiful. The song Tear Gas, Architects. So maybe you photograph either war zones or, difficult situations, right? Also, there is an element of needing to be silent in order, like in photography, oftentimes, especially if it's like nature photography or, I don't know, sports photography. There's a few different fields where you have to be very patient in order to get the best shot, right? Or to get the shot. And so also you would have to be very silent, especially in like nature photography. So, that is one way that it can tie in, but like I say, this over here feels so psychic to me. And this is a Cancer reading. Cancer is ruled by the moon, very psychic energy. So obviously there's something psychic that you're meant to do with this energy. Now we have Bohemian Rhapsody. It's interesting because it's saying anywhere the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. So maybe, you travel a lot or something. We've got the Six of Wands on the bottom of the deck. I think I said it in the beginning that you might get like, you might be kind of successful in whatever your art is, and that's what the Six of Wands is about. It's recognition, but this particular Six of Wands is recognition over your inner child with that Jack-in-the-Box there, and you can see that she's crying. So again, there's this message of there can be beauty in the difficult situations, right? you know, oftentimes we find that through struggle, that's like even though the struggle is hard, and I'm not trying to downplay any trauma or anything like that. That's not what I'm getting ready to talk about. When I'm talking about struggle, I'm talking about, say, you're having to live paycheck to paycheck, and this one is one that I know personally, right? Living paycheck to paycheck to the point where you cannot, like, you have to eat top ramen every day, 3 times a day, or like you can't go out and get all those extra little things that you would really like to get, right? But there's something about that strive in order to get bigger or earn bigger or make better or whatever, do better, create more. There's something about that that can be very it can be very rewarding in a way, because there's an accomplishment, right? You know that you've had the strength to make it through. And so again, I'm not talking about trauma. I'm talking about struggle. Two very different things, but there can be beauty in struggle as well. It's oftentimes too that if you stop and talk to those who you know, have the least, they will tend to be the ones who are the most willing to share and care for their common person, right? So it just take that however that resonates for this situation. But I do feel like there's an issue here of the inner child, recognition over your inner child. Maybe that's the psychic work that you do as well, or that you should do here, is recognition over, helping others to find recognition over their inner child, their dreams as well, because of the moon. But this particular moon, look at, she's literally like almost praying or asking, making a wish, right? And so the moon isn't always about like depression and fear. The moon is sometimes about our fantasies, because it's 12th house energy. What is it that you dream about? What was your childhood dream? Helping others find their childhood dream, helping others in order to put it into practice in some way as well, with that Ace of Pentacles there. Interesting how the moon has the same coloration too as this over here. So there's something about beauty that was a childhood dream, whether that is making beauty products, photography, modeling, painting. It's something that has to do with like color, a lot of color, bright colors. The way that colors and images look together in some way. Maybe advertising. I'm going to go ahead and look at, we have the 7 of Pentacles. Again, that same coloring coming through, but now you see there's this blue is worked all the way through it, that's coming from this side here. And so this is talking about patience. Maybe you already knew exactly what you needed to do before you ever came to this reading. You've known for a while exactly what what is your dream, what it is that you want to do, and you knew like from a young age that this was your thing, right? But you're feeling like it's taking forever, or like it's not coming together in the way that you would hope that it would, or something, with the 7 of Pentacles now. I'm going to go ahead and get some clarifiers from our racy deck. So it's interesting, right as I was saying that I was going to get clarification, my Pandora went to commercial, which is typically, like, when I'm giving a reading, that's typically my signal that like the reading is basically, you know, over. right? Like there's no more information. Look at, you got the Wheel of Fortune. Very positive energy there. Maybe also if you, with this energy that we were talking about here, where it was talking about having patience as well. That Wheel of Fortune is saying like, it's because really the wheel turns and it has to be the correct time, right? And it doesn't stop turning, but it is your actions that turn the wheel. Oh, because there's some sort of healing that needs to happen still. Maybe you're not aware of it, but there's some sort of healing still that needs to happen. Could be over a earth sign. Queen of Discs would be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Okay. And then we've got Judgment and Temperance. So that is like bringing balance. You have to bring balance to some issue with an earth sign. Okay, so actually that was really our clarifiers, even though I wasn't meaning for it to be like that. But let's go ahead and leave those out. Hold on. Oh, because the Ten of Probes, you're holding on to a burden that, with all of this, the burden is too heavy. You're still too attached to an earth sign in some way. That's the reason this is taking a little bit longer than it should. Maybe that's, so again, like I feel if you came to this reading and you already knew exactly what it is that you want to do, and you have known from like the time you were a child, right? But you're having difficulty getting that off the ground, or you're having difficulty maybe bringing two things together in some way. It's because of this energy here. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to some charms. So with the charms, what we're asking is, what do you need to be aware of over the next month regarding this energy? So the rest of the reading was looking at, you know, over your lifetime. But right now we're getting ready to focus on just the next month. And we have the song, Nowhere Fast, Incubus. Yeah, it completely makes sense with that last, what we were talking about. I think that's how you feel, maybe. And it's saying something about maybe you feel as if you haven't taken the right direction. This is interesting. Hold on. Will I ever get to where I'm going? Will I ever follow through with what I had planned? I guess it's possible that I have been a bit distracted and the directions for me are a lot less in demand. Will I ever get to where I'm going? If I do, will I know when I'm there? If the wind blew me in the right direction, would I even care? And then it says, I would take a look around. It's evident the scene has changed, and there are times when I feel improved upon the past. Then there are times when I can't seem to understand it all, and yes, it seems as though I'm going nowhere really fucking fast. Interesting, very interesting. Take that however it resonates for your reading. But we do have the rose quartz that came out over the 6th house. It's talking about a year's time at least, because it fell completely off the board and off camera. And we also have this piece of tourmalated quartz that fell here. So this one, it's saying like, at least I would start now, really, because rose quartz talks about self-care, right? Self-care and compassion. And the 6th house is all about your health. And so if it's talking about self-care and it's talking about over this next month, you need to be aware, what you need to be aware of. It's saying you need to be aware of your health, because if you don't start taking care of yourself now, within a year, you're really going to need to, with the way that rose quartz fell. So that's number one, okay? And then with this one here, with the tourmalated quartz, this is, I would say, at least 6 months out, because it did fall a little further away from the board. It's not right next to it. And this is talking about getting yourself in balance for your own protection. And it's coming out over the 5th house, which is the house of creativity. So whatever it is that you're doing, you're burning yourself out in some way. And I think it's because you're trying to like breathe new life into something. And now we have the song One Way or Another, right, by Blondie. So just the title says a lot. It's like one way or another, I'm going to create what I want, or I'm going to get what I want, right? And it's saying with the bellows, I always say, you know, that it's talking about breathing new life into a situation, because that's exactly what a bellows does. It keeps the fire burning inside of your hearth, right, or inside of your fireplace. Or we don't need them anymore, but that's what they were used for way back when. But you have the key here, and the key is sitting over both the 4th and 5th houses. And so the 4th house is it's like your actual home, but it's also your family, your security, the people that live with you, even if they're not related to you, because they are living in your home. So the key to this, if breathing new life into this, is it's somehow connected to either your home or family or the people that live with you. And we're going to get to this V in just a second. But this particular key is the key to faith. It's a special charm that I have in my box, right? So literally it's saying have faith, but especially because of the 7 of Pentacles. It's saying have faith. Whatever it is you're doing is working, definitely, with the way that it's set up here. But you need to keep yourself in balance, especially because this is coming out at 6 months, and then this one came out at about a year, you know, and it's talking about how you're spending your time each day, as well as your health and how you're of service to others, right? And so keep yourself balanced, like maybe take a vacation, or give yourself, like, make a schedule where you literally schedule time to get yourself back into balance before you end up in a bad spot in a year, right? Take the advice now and you do the self-care now. So the letter V can be a person, place, or thing that is going to be important to your situation over the next month. And that is coming out over the 3rd and 4th houses. So it's someone or something that you either need to talk to or talk about. So just take that however it resonates. We have the Bible in the very center of your reading, which is the center circle is the focus. It's what the main message of your reading is, right? And so this Bible is magnetic, as you can see, and it has other small charms inside of it. It has the praying hands, it has the angel, and it has the dove of peace. So literally it's saying over the next month, keep faith at the center of your awareness. Like, have faith, don't give up, pray, the angels are with you, you know, try to keep yourself peaceful, all that good stuff. You also have the number 8 domino. I love that. So the number 8 is the number of abundance, and the domino was upside down. It's talking about there's abundance that you don't see coming in. Come on, focus. Come on. Well, I guess you can kind of sort of see it, even if it's not wanting to focus. But it's made up of the number 6 and the number 2. So the number 6 has to do with like love or money, and the number 2 has to do with support. So I think your abundance is coming from support, probably from the person that I'm saying person, it doesn't have to be a person, but I do think your family is going to support you with whatever this is. It could be the person that... In other words, it could be a person, place, or thing that's the letter V, basically. Okay, so with the 7th and 8th houses, so this is the house of partnerships. This can be either marriage partnerships or business partnerships, and then the 8th house is joint resources, and you've got shooting stars. Very interesting, the shooting stars with the moon. So again, this is about like your friends or your family, or somebody is going to be helping you. Allow them to help you. And this was upside down again, so maybe it's something that it looks like the stars are coming from the moon's mouth to me. So maybe this is like word of mouth. Someone help promotes you or something. Something about promotion, word of mouth is coming through here. And then we have in the 10th house with Aries, we've got the Virgo charm and the letter M. So it's very clear that you're probably dealing with a Virgo who, with the, you know, it's either with a Virgo with the letter M in their name, or you're dealing with a Virgo about something that the letter M applies to. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that here. I hope it resonates. If it does not, please watch for your sun, moon, or rising. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell your friends, anything you can to help me, and it really does help me. So I thank you very much for watching. Hello, group 2. So first we're going to look at your star family and your crystal. Very interesting. You've got the grays, we've got black coral. We're going to read from the book to see what it says about the grays. I want to get a couple more crystals to see, you know, what other crystals might work for you, and mainly for you, it's because this is black coral, right? Coral, black and red coral, I think, are probably not all that easy to find. And so not everyone is going to be able to work with it. Give me a second to shuffle. I have to admit, I was taken aback for a second when the grays came through, because based on what I read so far in this book and what little bit I know about Starseed, I think the grays are typically the one that everyone is like, yeah, afraid of, and intimidating is one of the words that's on there. So, and then we have the black coral, which feels very protective to me. So it's very interesting energy coming through, where it feels very dark, it feels very heavy, it feels very scary, and yet it's also very protective. So take that however it resonates for your situation. But hold on, we have the song Becky's So Hot by Fletcher. I apologize if you can hear that. That's my cat. We had my bird in here earlier who left bird dust all over the table, and now my cat's in here making noise. Oh. So we have clear quartz now on the bottom of the deck. It says light embodied, and the coral is light in the darkness. I think even though this energy right here is very heavy, I think maybe you heal. Look at, you balance it. Look at the coloring too. Again, Boji stone, align and clear. That's what I was looking for. You align, you balance and align all of the darkness somehow, some way. You bring light into this dark energy, into this very heavy energy in some way. All right, so you could use Boji stone or clear coats or the black coral. We also have Botswana agate as well as amethyst. So we've got breathe and humility. Very interesting, because the Botswana agate, especially with the colors, it corresponds very nicely to like the lower chakras, especially Earth Star. I'm feeling very, very strongly Earth Star, like right in between, like your connection where your feet touch the earth. Very strong. And then this is, I'm feeling very much, I gotta be honest, throat chakra, this amethyst throat chakra. I want, like most people would look at amethyst and say it's crown, and I wanted to say crown chakra. but every instinct that I have inside of me was telling me to say throat chakra. So, but I have to be honest. If you speak in some way, or you have to, I don't know if it's so much like, this feels very much in the dark in some way, like maybe, what is this? It's like maybe you have to speak about something, but it's not so much in the public. Like there's something about what you speak about. You have to be very much grounded and very much connected at the same time. You have to have your feet on the ground, but you, like, it's almost like I feel like I need to tell you, like, if you're going into meditation, this needs to be at your feet and this needs to be at your crown, but it's in order to facilitate your throat chakra. It's the only way that I can explain how this feels to me. And whenever you speak, those two, like, you have to be so much in balance. Like, you have to be very grounded. You have to be very sure of whatever it is that you're saying, because this energy is so dark here. We have the song 11 a.m. by Incubus. Okay, so let me read from the book what it says about the Greys. Oh, they have two kinds, the Greys short, and then they've got the Greys that are tall. I guess I didn't notice that. I noticed that it said tall, but I didn't know that there was a difference. So, hold on a second. I gotta put my glasses on. Can't see without them. Okay, it says, most agree the tall Greys come from the, what is that? Zeta Reticuli? From the Zeta Reticuli star system in the Orion constellation, though some have made suggestions they may have come from the Andromedan galaxy, which is even further away. Others even speculate that they could be a future evolution of the human race returning here, or an alien race from the future that has traveled back in time. They are somewhat similar in appearance to the short gray, only much taller, and some have a slightly more noticeable nose. The tall Greys are lanky, with elongated, spindly limbs and an ectomorphic body. They can stand anywhere from 6 to 8 feet in height. Like the short Greys, some have 4 fingers on each hand, others have 3. They are not overly strong and have awkward bodily movements. Like their cousins, they too have no reproductive organs. Interesting. The tall Greys have also been associated with the abduction phenomena and are usually described as hostile, bitter, and cold. They also largely work under Alpha Draconian dominance and mind control. Many are now clones. Some blame the tall Greys for the unexplained cattle mutilation phenomena. Some tall Greys are positioned in scientific, what is that, MILAB, MILAB, genetic laboratories and secret military negotiation departments. It says they are telepathic, psychic, and have an intimidating presence. The tall Greys operate and function in a utility hive mind, Borg-like culture where individual thought is near non-existent. Okay, well, no wonder it felt so dark and heavy to me. If you can't be an individual. It almost feels military, but, you know, take that however it resonates. So we've got order, utilitarian, organized, rigid, uniformity, militant, obedience, intimidating, structure, non-approachable. That's if it's in its upright, meaning it's so the healthy energy for the tall Greys would be to be intimidating and all of these things, right? And militaristic and structured. But if it's in the reverse, meaning it's not healthy, that's when they're approachable and a free spirit. They confess things, they're flexible, they have a laissez-faire attitude, they don't interfere, and they allow for others. Okay, so very interesting. So this is very leadership. We've got dirty laundry, Carrie Underwood. This is leadership energy here, definitely. Interesting. So it can go both ways, or two ways, I should say, because we've got the song Dirty Laundry, right? So, and we are talking about, you have to be really sure about what you're saying before you say it. So it could be some sort of counseling that you do, or that you should do. But then it's saying, I don't have to hang you out to dry. So it's almost like you know people's secrets or something, or like the things that you know could get people in trouble. Like your testimony could get someone in trouble is the way that I'm taking this. But there's like so it could either be counseling, because it's like when it's saying like intimidating, all of this stuff, very rigid, like non-conformity, all of that kind of stuff, right? So if we're looking at like counseling, then you're looking at an issue where you're telling someone else how to think, how to live, how to be, and that's very unhealthy, and it's very, it feels very cult-like and unhealthy, even though saying midnight sneaking in, oh, I'm late again, oh, I'm so sorry, all the secrets all the Ajax in the world ain't gonna clean your dirty laundry. This also feels very religious as well. I'm so sorry for, and you know, I have to be honest, if you're watching me, you probably already have your own questions about organized religion. But this does, it feels very like there's a very religious aspect to the mix of the song with the cards and this whole feeling of like your testimony could really hurt somebody, right? Whether that means that you're getting them in trouble in some way, like a legal sense, or whether that means that you're getting someone in trouble in like a health sense, a mental and emotional sense. I feel like you need to be very careful with this energy. I feel like if you are balanced, right, you can be the light in the darkness, as this one is saying, right? You could absolutely be the light in the darkness. You just have to keep yourself balanced, because it's too dangerous otherwise. I'm sorry to sound so dark. It's just that when I read the cards, I have to read them the way that they're coming through. Now we've got The Devil Doesn't Bargain by Alec Benjamin. So it's, again, very interesting that this song is coming through, only because I do feel a very religious aspect to this reading here. There's a very religious feel, an undertone. And Alec Benjamin, his songs are very kind of religious. I think he might be a Christian artist, if I'm not mistaken. So again, take that however it resonates for your situation. But we're going to get some tarot cards to see. And see, I don't even know why I grouped these the way that I did, other than I wanted breathe and humility on the top rather than sitting over here on the side, right? Like, because I got to be honest, I didn't even realize that I was doing it that way, but now that I see that that was the way that I grouped the cards, I realize why it's so important, right? Because it's saying, I feel like what it is you want to be the light in the darkness. I think you absolutely want to be a light in the darkness, but there's something happening where you need to really like fight your So let's get some tarot cards. I feel like you want, so when I was saying before, like if you were going into meditation, right? I would tell you to put this at your feet and this at the crown of your head. I would have you lay down on the floor, and I would say this would definitely go at your feet and this would go at the crown of your head, your earth star and crown chakra. But this clear quartz, I feel like this is what you want to come. I feel like you want this energy to come from your heart and your throat, right? This is what you're hoping for. But there's something about you need to look at, even you've got the 10 of Wands now on the bottom of the deck. So it's like if you don't rein in your ego, you could end up giving bad advice or something. Now we have under pressure. Okay, so that's why. I was wondering, like, why? Because it seems like your intentions are so good, right? But it has to do with being under pressure. And that's understandable if you are someone who, you know, you have a religious background and you very much want to give testimony, and you very much want to help to heal others, right? There can be a lot of pressure with that, because you have to keep yourself balanced. And just as I was saying that, look at the Temperance on the bottom of the deck. In order for you to heal others, you have to keep yourself healed. You have to keep yourself in balance. And so it's almost like, especially with this here, because it's talking about utilitarian and organized, it feels like there's a lot of Saturn energy coming through with this particular, like maybe you have prominent Saturn in your chart, or you have like Capricorn placements in your chart. Well, it doesn't have to just be Capricorn, it can be Aquarius as well. It depends on really like which, whether you use Western astrology or not. Or I should say the modern rulerships or not, modern or traditional rulerships. And so if you're using traditional rulerships, then both Aquarius and Capricorn would have Saturn energy. But if you're going with Western, then it would be Capricorn, because Aquarius would be Uranian energy. This feels very Saturnian, very restrictive. Also, like there's a lot of work, like maybe you're putting in too much work. That could be something that they're saying here, especially if you want to heal others and you're feeling, I don't know if I shuffled these enough. If you're wanting to heal others and you're feeling pressured to work, to the point where you're not able to actually rest when you need to, or, you know, cry when you need to, or scream or get angry if you need to, right? Because everyone needs to be able to do all of the above. It's a misconception that healers are supposed to be lovey-dovey all the time. No, you're not. You're not supposed to be lovey-dovey and giving all the time, especially because I'm talking to Cancer placements, right? Sun, Moon, or Rising. Cancer placements can be very sensitive and a little bit codependent as well. And so that codependence can come through as giving too much and not, you know, receiving. So let's see what else they want to say here, because there's so much that's come through already, but how do they want you to, and I feel like this one right there. Okay, so now we've got the Six of Wands. They want you to recognize literally use this energy right here and get in touch with your inner child. Go out and play, literally. Especially where this card talks about being the light in the darkness. More than likely, not just you going out to play, but you helping others to go out to play as well. Look at, now we've got the Five of Pentacles with the Six of Pentacles. So, neither one of these cards looks unhappy. And the thing about the Five of Pentacles is it's typically, in traditional tarot, it's typically energy of lack, right? Being left out or being rejected in some way. But not in this card. They don't look rejected. They don't look like they're lacking for anything, do they? They don't even really look all that unhappy. They might be living in that van, but they're probably okay. And then we've got this circus over here, which is the Six of Pentacles, which is energy of charity, right? Being generous, being charitable to others. So that's what they want you to do. They want you to be generous. Like you are not lacking in any way, and so they want you to be generous. I almost forgot this card was here, and look at, now we've got the Knave of Cups. So that's just even more confirmation of what I was getting ready to say. Be generous, go out and play, have fun, right? Like, especially if you do have Saturn prominent in your chart, that means you probably are the kind of person who saves your money, doesn't really spend on frivolous things, right? And I feel like that's saying maybe you should just go out and have some fun. Because you work all the time anyway. Like you always, and whatever it is that you're doing is kind of heavy, right? Like you're in this heavy energy all the time anyway. So go have some fun. We have the song, I don't know if I already mentioned it. Oh, look, it's exactly 1222. So that's an angel number, especially all of those twos that you might, it could be that you need to get out with, like, go out and date. One number away, Luke Combs. And interesting too, one number away, and if you look at 1222, it's literally one number away from a four of a kind, right? Or a full, like, 2222. So maybe you just need a person. Maybe you need to go out and find your other half, is what they're saying. Is, look at, Cancer placements are all about home and family anyway. Okay. We're just going to get some clarifiers with our racy deck here. All right, now we've got, look at the Six of Wands or the Six of Probes, which just more clarification, because it's the same card, just different imagery. Look at how happy she is, though. And I have to say, just because I have the sense of humor of a 12-year-old, look at how happy she is with all those dicks on, all those dicks on her head. Oh God, I'm so sorry for that. But, like, in other words, especially if you're feminine and you need to get out there and date, get out there and date. You'll be happy with the attention, okay? Because that's what the Six of Wands is about. It's about recognition and getting attention. And look at, she's wearing a sash, like she won some sort of prize, and this is her crown. Anyway, okay, hold on. Let's see what the other cards are. We've got the Eight of Specimens. We have the Queen of Discs. And I did not say dick again. I said discs. You can see it right there on the thing. I have a friend who, every time I say something that sounds even slightly dirty, she giggles. So anyway. Okay, so we have the Eight of Specimen, the Queen of Discs, and then the Empress. Okay, so It could be that you need to walk away from someone towards something else, right? Like probably we have two feminines here, or two people here at least. Both Venus energy. Well, I only say both Venus energy because this is Earth energy, which could be Taurus. So, and this is Taurus right here. So more than likely, maybe you need to walk away from a Taurus in order to find what it is that you're looking for, right? But it doesn't have to be a Taurus. It can be Libra as well with the Empress card because it's just Venus energy, or it could be Virgo and Capricorn. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or Libra. You need to walk away from someone in order to find your person, or to find your happiness, I should say. We have the song Strangers, Theory of a Dead Man. You might want to Google the lyrics to see if there's a message there for you. We're going to move on to the charms now to see what do they want you to know, or what you need to be aware of over the next month regarding this energy. So the bulk of the reading was focusing on your entire life, right? But now we're just going to look at the next month. All right. So we're going to focus on the 10th house first, just because those are the two that I flipped over, and I don't want to forget that the gift was upside down. So there's some gift that you have that you could use in your career to your benefit that you are not using, that you're not paying attention to. And so, you know, and whatever it is, it's something that can protect you as well. You also have the horse coming through. Look you've got peace on this side. You've got the star on this side. So peace here, the star or the pentagram, right, is a symbol of protection. And so it's literally you're protected in your career. Also your reputation is, you've got a very good reputation. You probably have some gift that you're not paying attention to at this point that you should, that is like really solidifying this energy. It could have to do with like crystals and things, and the reason that I say that is because of the dragon. Dragons like to live in caves and they like to hoard treasure. We already saw that you kind of probably save money, right? You probably hoard treasure anyway, but there's something about crystals, like maybe some higher knowledge or awareness that you have of crystals that can not only bring you peace, but I think it's somehow attached to all of this feels connected to me right here, this 9th, 10th, 11th house energy. The 11th house could be something online. Could have to do with like Wicca, witchcraft, all of that kind of stuff because of the star coming through here. It's something that will bring you freedom, or something that you probably love, right? Because of the horse, you'll feel free if you were to focus on it. But also focus on your freedom this month. Give yourself some freedom this month. We saw that already with the message of getting out and having fun. There could be a person, place, or thing with the initial J that's going to be important to your career. And also that was upside down, so it's something that you're not aware of at this point, or something that you're ignoring at this point, or someone that you're ignoring at this point. So coming back to the center, we have free to fly. See, you've got the horse, which is all about freedom. You've got free to fly, and then look at all of this money that we also have. But we need to remember that this $10 bill, which is upside down, is coming out over the 5th house. And so we already talked about dating, right? You've got a $20 bill and you've got a $10 bill there. You've got free to fly, okay? And so what it's saying is, like, you'll get back double. Like, even if you're worried about spending money on dating, if you're worried about the expense of dating, you're gonna get back what you spend twofold. But if you're worried about some other expense, if it just comes to like traveling or going out and having fun, again, what you gain from this will come back to you twofold. So that's number one. We're going to put those to the sides. And so having that come out, we already spoke about the 10 coming out over the 5th house, but I want to explain why that's important, because that's the house of romance. It's also the house of children. It could be that you might need to go out and have fun with your children, right? But this is also creative pursuits. So anything creative that you do, like literally any type of, whether it's singing, art, writing, poetry, like anything creative that you do, you'll get back, or it's you know, it could be a little bit expensive. There could be some expenses attached to it, but again, you'll get back twofold what you put into it. So they really want to bring home this message of go out and have fun. Coming over your 1st house, you've got the initial L, so it could be a person, place, or thing that will be important to you specifically, whether that is somebody or something that will make you very happy, but it's also something that can affect your body, so just keep that in mind. And then coming out over the 3rd house, a lot of communication. Like if you do go out and have fun, you'll meet a lot of people. And that's also something that will keep you very busy. It's also very abundant to go out and meet these people. Come on. Whereas if the bee would just focus, come on. Come on. There we go. So interesting, we've got the song. Cool, featuring David Banner. It's Anthony Hamilton, and the first thing he says is we don't have to worry about no money to have us a real good time. So definitely a message here, but I'll read the rest of that. It says we don't have to worry about no money to have us a real good time, and we don't have to leave in the morning the whole day, just you and I, and it don't have to get any better. It's perfect, you in my life. So it could be that maybe there's somebody specific that you're interested in that with the initial L. It doesn't have to be, but if it is, then you need to get to talking, get to working on it, right? Have faith with the Bible here coming out over the 3rd and 4th house. Just have faith when it comes to communication and security, but also anything to do with your house. Have faith with that, right? House and family. This is the Bible, and when it opens, it has other charms inside of it, which are, it is the praying hands, the angel, and the dove of peace. And so literally just symbols of, faith. It's saying, pray, like, the angels are protecting you, like go out and have fun, especially with that, the dove of peace, right? Go out and let yourself have fun. You're okay, your security is fine. So over the 6th and 7th houses, we've got the domino, the number 4 domino. So again, more security energy, or energy of security and safety, which is what the number 4 brings in. Think of the square. It's a solid foundation, right? So your work is solid, but this was upside down. Like you may not even see this, like you may not see exactly how solid your foundation is. And you could be very emotional at this time as well, or at least over the next month when it comes to like partnerships, whether that's business or romantic partnerships with this rune, which is the water rune here. It talks about going with the flow. So even if you are emotional and worried, don't, because that's what the song is saying, don't worry, go with the flow. Because this is the rune of flow, or the rune of water, right? That's what water does. It flows and it creates its own path, right? When it comes to joint resources, you're going to need to get very clear on what's happening there in order to protect yourself, as well as sexual issues if you're out dating. be very clear, open, honest, and, you know, and protect yourself, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and leave that here. I hope it resonates. If it does not, please watch for your sun, moon, or rising. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Anything you can to help me, and it definitely does help me, so I thank you very much for watching. Hello, Group 3. So you have a few star families, but I remember this one here was the one that was the most important. So that's the Agarthans. They are the leaders. Oh, interesting. We've got the song Maggots by Ashniko. And actually, very strange the way this album cover looks, kind of similar, except for her laying down. It's the orbs and the apples here. So there's something about that, about the orbs or something. So we also have the Nephilim and the short grays. So I wonder if you are going to be working with the other two groups. I just have to say it how it feels. Now we have Morganite, equality in love. So either you have you are a mix of all three star families, kind of like with DNA, like, you know, human DNA. You can have different, you can be have different ethnicities, right? Or be from different areas, I should say, because really we're all the same. Like, we're all human, and it's really just about which countries you come from. It's not like there's any real difference. So which country, like, you can have DNA from different countries or different parts of the world, which would give you some empathy for different cultures, right? Because that's kind of how this feels. It feels like maybe it's either one of two things. Either you have a mix of all three of these star families, or you work with other star families, mainly these two, but you work with other star families. And it's because of your compassion. Morganite, I always see this as a stone of family, just because of the color. Like, it just feels very sort of family bubblegum to me, like the color of it. You know, and you have to have a lot of, like, compassion and unconditional love in your family. You've got to have a lot of forgiveness in family situations, and so that's coming through very strongly. Also, because with the exception of the Nephilim, this pink is carrying through in these two cards, right? So again, just take it however that resonates. We're going to read all three of the star groups, but before we do that, I want to get some more crystals to see, you know, what other ones you could work with, because not everyone is going to want to work with Morganite, or not everyone is going to have it, or whatever. We have the song 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by Upsal. You might want to Google that to see if there's a message for you there in the lyrics. I feel like we need one more. That's why I'm still going, even though it's not actually falling. It just feels like there's one more that we need, and it could just be that it's on the, or going to end up on the bottom of the deck. But I just want to give it a few more shuffles to see, because I feel like it's one more and the bottom of the deck, to be honest with you. Oy, not that many. Interesting though, look. Right there. And I say that because of the color. You can see it already right there. That's obviously the one that's meant to be there. Look at, now we have rhodochrosite, so more of the coloring coming through that's meant to be there. Let's see what this one is. Yep, look at that, perfect. Perfect color combination. So we've got chrysocolla, peach calcite, morganite, opal, and rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite has to do with self-love. Interesting that that's, and you've got harmonized, silence, equality in love, and emotional magnification. Whoa, okay. If you feel as if you are somehow lacking because, like if you are, I don't know, if you feel that there, like you don't fit in, you're somehow lacking, there's something, hold on. When I read self-love, I actually felt like it was saying self-loathing, like there's self-loathing happening here. And then as soon as I said that, we have the song, hold on, Everything I've Known by Korn. So you've lost something. And I feel like the opal goes right here with this one, right here. And it's talking about timid, misunderstood, and shy are the keywords. So opal absolutely comes right here. That's number one. I feel like this is your overall, right? This goes for everything. But I have to be honest, this one goes here, and I feel like this one comes over here. Actually, no, we've got those two here, and then we've got this one here. So I'm actually going to read it that way. It does feel like there's a lot of self-loathing. This song is talking about, feels like I've lost everything that I've known. I'm alone. I don't think you are. I think it's because of the energy, and I'm going to explain that in just a second, but I think it's definitely the energy that you're putting out. And I'm so sorry to say it that way. It's just that opal, it says it right here in the keywords, it's an emotional magnifier, right? So if you are feeling timid, misunderstood, and shy, and, you know, especially with this opal coming out, I feel like that's radiating from you. And the fact that it's radiating from you makes a lot of people turn away for whatever reason. It just does, and I'm sorry for that. And if you happen to be someone who wears opal, you're going to want to stop, at least until you get yourself balanced. So let's go ahead and read what it says in the book for each group, if I can find my book, for each group, and then I'm going to explain what I think the crystal does for each group, because I do feel that it goes separate here. This one might be a little bit longer, and if it is, then we just might have to forego the charms, which I apologize for. But it could be that maybe, you know, it's more important for you to get the overall message rather than understanding what it is that you need to know about for the next month, right? There's so many readers and videos on YouTube for you to look at your monthly forecast. There's even a bunch of them here on my channel. But, you know, you could, all of my readings are timeless. Whenever you watch them, they're meant for you. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this set up right so that I know what I'm doing here. So we're going to start with the Agarthans. It says, Agarthans, or Telosian ancestors, were initially Atlantean and Lemurian refugee survivors from the Atlantis destruction. Agarthan are now a highly advanced, multidimensional, and sophisticated civilization that resides inside the pristine core of Hollow Earth. We have the song Never by Heart. It says, Telos is one of the divine citadels of the Agarthans, located beneath Mount Shasta, where they live a fruitful, serene, and abundant lifestyle, far superior to surface dwellers. They typically stand anywhere up to 12 feet in height. Inner Earth's flora, fauna, and vegetation is of the finest and purest nutritional quality found anywhere. They live up to 800 years or more, and typically the very oldest do not appear older than 40 years of age in the flesh. The citadels are crystalline and magical to the eye while being totally free from any toxins whatsoever. So interesting that that's coming out with this Morganite and then Harmonize and the other two groups, because I feel like part of what's happening with this energy is that you're meant to do exactly what it's saying here, like remove toxins or detox either other people's energy or something in some way. Like it feels a little bit like a Reiki thing, to be honest, but let me keep reading. So we have, it says, Agarthans mostly avoid traveling to surface Earth due to the energetic harshness and toxins, though they do visit when need be. Agarthans are looking forward to the human collective ascension of consciousness, which cosmically also affects all ETs according to their developmental level. And so I feel like that's another aspect of what's happening with the other two groups, is that maybe you, especially the Nephilim for some reason, I don't know why it's being pointed out or what's the word? Singled out to me, because really the Greys, I think, would be the more frightening group, right? But it does say misunderstood on their keyword, and we're going to find out more when we get to it, because I haven't actually, this is the first time I've come across this card in filming these readings so far. So maybe I'm misunderstanding them and assuming that they should be the one that everyone should be afraid of, when it's actually the Nephilim, although the Nephilim have come up before. It's just that the Nephilim can be very critical, especially if they're in their toxic energy. So maybe there are people around you that are from this star family group that you need to you need to help raise the collective their collective consciousness in some way, them as well, but I think this one is more the focus here. So, but we'll get to that in just a second. So it says, in alliance with other benevolent ETs, the Agarthans are gatekeepers of the halls of Amenti, the ancient self-regulating cosmic portals or stargates that cannot be entered until initiates of all species have ascended consciousness, or the Christos, in their energy field. So it's interesting. Let's talk about this Christos here, okay? If you've been watching any of my videos, you'll see that I have a lot of like Christian symbolism in my charm box and stuff, like the Bible. I've got the key to faith, I've got the angel of peace, I've got the angel heart, I've got all kinds of different Christian symbolism throughout it. And it's because of what they talk about here, this Christos, the ascended consciousness, which is what, in my opinion, Christ consciousness is. I don't subscribe to organized religion, but I do believe in Christ consciousness, or the elevated or ascended consciousness. So, and that's what they're talking about here, elevating others' consciousness. There's something that you will be doing to elevate, and it doesn't even have to be anything in the public. This could just be in your own family. I say that because of this Morganite. It literally could be that you are simply meant to raise the vibration and the consciousness of your own specific family that you were born into. You could be born into a mixed race family as well. And it could be that maybe there are some people that are in your family who are not as acceptant and as tolerant, being the Nephilim, right? Because they're so very critical. Maybe not as tolerant. And so that could be the reason that you need to raise the consciousness. But, again, that's what the energy of Morganite says to me specifically. Let's go ahead and move on to the Nephilim. We do have the song, Jesus Take the Wheel. Again, we were just talking about the Christ consciousness. So here we have Jesus Take the Wheel by Carrie Underwood. So let's move on to the Nephilim. And I have to put my glasses back on. It says, the Nephilim are also known as Anakin, Els, and Elohim. The Nephilim were the humanoid giants of ancient times, and by the way, that word Elohim is another word for angels, so take that however it resonates with what we've already spoken of. So, the Nephilim were the humanoid giants of ancient times on earth that seemingly died out during the last great flood. They stood at 14 feet tall and sometimes even taller. Their origins are unclear. Some sources say they originate from Canaan. Genesis chapter 6 verse 4 states that they are the sons of God. Later interpretations of this led to the relabeling of them as the fallen ones. The Nephilim were pre-Diluvian and possibly of the original genetic seeding programs. Discovered bones are as old as 50,000 to 300,000 years old. The Hebrew Torah makes mention of Nephilim giants, and the Old Testament book of Samuel mentions Goliath the giant. The book of Enoch makes reference to the giants, as do the Dead Sea Scrolls. The ancient Greeks called their giants Cyclops and Titans. Scandinavian pagans mention stories regarding ice giants and trolls. The New Zealand Maori have stories about the red-haired Patu Parehe giants that inhabited New Zealand first. In 1911, the ancient Nevada Siteka tribe discovered mummified red-haired giants that coincided with their passed-down stories. Giant bones were also discovered in Alaska and Mexico and in the Denisova Cave in Siberia. The Nephilim have a complex and controversial history that sometimes weirdly overlaps into Anunnaki genetic territory. So again, with that Anunnaki genetic territory, the issue of genetics is coming up a second time, which we kind of already knew just based on 3 of these star families coming out. So when this card is in the upright, they can be apparently when the Nephilim are in their healthy energy, right? Because I call upright cards healthy and reverse cards toxic, right? Not always, but sometimes. So if they're in their upright, it's controversial, assessing, critiquing, there's extrasensory perception, brute strength, temptations, new perspectives, new ideas, hope, processing, and rustic. But if it's reversed, it's critical, condemning, chauvinistic, crude, outdated, and with unrealistic expectations. So again, going back to this energy of raising the consciousness of, because I think this is who the consciousness needs to be raised of, those who are very critical. And then you have the 2 cards, Chrysocolla with Peach Calcite. We have Silence and Harmonize. Very interesting to me because Chrysocolla is a throat chakra stone. So it's about speaking. But what it's really about is thinking before you speak, right? Only speaking when you have something to say that really matters, which is really coming through with this Harmonize or the Peach Calcite, because Peach Calcite is such a soft stone. I feel like there's something very soft spoken about you probably. And that's one of the ways that you're able to harmonize and raise the consciousness is through this demeanor that you have that can be very timid, as they say here with the grays. And shy. But again, with this opal, I don't feel like it's saying that they want you to use this opal on the regular. I feel like they're saying be very careful of this tendency to be timid and shy, because that's the reason that you're misunderstood, and it's radiating out and it's making things worse. So don't put that opal on until you get yourself balanced and you get your confidence back. But let's go ahead and read the grays to see what it says. It says there are many varieties of short grays. They originate from the Orion constellation. Zeta Reticulum grays are typically around 3 to 4.5 feet in height. The short grays are largely now a hybrid, and some are a cloned species that no longer have access to their soul matrix. The Alpha Draconian operate and oversee these genetic engineering and cloning MyLab programs. So this one was talking about the original genetic program, and here we have another message of genetic programming. So again, take that however it resonates for your situation. It could be maybe that genetics is the area that you're meant to work in as well. It says, well, what's interesting too, I just now dawned on me, it says that the short grays are largely now a hybrid. Again, we kind of already knew that because of what was coming through with the other cards. So that doesn't surprise me at all. So the short grays have enormous, haunting, wraparound, dark black eyes, which they are able to use while making eye contact with someone to hypnotize them into a trance, like the tall grays. Their skin color varies in tones of gray. They do not physically eat, though do acquire nutrients from various sources by absorbing energy through their skin. The 1947 Roswell crash in New Mexico brought short gray's existence to the public's attention. Short gray's mode of interstellar travel is usually disc-like crafts. Sorry, we have the song "Sad." Hold on. And as I'm reading this about the crafts, I'll explain it. Excuse me, not sad. It's bad. Extentation is this artist's name. Okay, so it could be where it's talking about their crafts and the 1947 Roswell crash. I heard "sad" in the lyric of the song, and it came through right at the time when it was talking about their craft. So it could be that that's part of the reason that you're so sad, and you feel, because at the beginning it talks about, I feel like I've lost everything. I've lost my home, like I can't get home, right? It's coming through with this card here. Okay, so it says they have no sex organs and no known emotions. They are pure bullshit. They don't have emotions, but it says no known emotions. According to this, you do, but maybe it's because you're hybrid. I don't know. They are purely logical and are incredibly intelligent and telepathic. It is reported they too are a dying species and are desperate to save themselves from extinction. Some short grays have been associated with the abduction and contactee phenomena, which reportedly the short grays experimentally do with methodologies which will hopefully help them access their soul matrix and thereby assist their genetic species. They are largely a slave, subservient race that complies under Alpha Draconian rule. We have the song "Eyes Closed" by Halsey. So the card meaning is timid, misunderstood, shy, marginalized, oppressed, fragile, vulnerable, scapegoat, non-adaptable, innocence, children or child, victim, hypersensitive, and devalued. In its reversed meaning, it's empowered, understood, valued, speaking up, and building confidence. So again, not surprised that it says all that with the opal coming out. Like, definitely it's saying build your confidence before you try working with opal. But once you get that confidence up, if you wear opal, oh my God, it's going to be your best friend. So that's number one. Let's see how, well, we already know how, but let's see if we can find out anything else here with the tarot cards, like how you're supposed to use this energy. Actually, let's get one more. It doesn't want to give us another one. There it goes. All right, so now we have the Eight of Wands on the bottom of the deck. So talking, definitely talking. is how you're supposed to use it in some way, communication. And that can take so many different forms. So we have the Knight of Pentacles, or excuse me, the Page of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Chariot. You are supposed to do this in your work. Your work is supposed to consist of some type of communication, and you're here in the Chariot. This is you. This is Cancerian energy. So interesting to me, though. I'm looking at this. It could be that there's something about clothing. I'm noticing her boots, her shirt. She looks fabulous to me, right? Like she just looks really cute. And it's the way that she's sitting there, the way that she's posing, right? There's something about clothing. Artistic something or other. And then look at, you've got the Five of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. You know what? I think like there's something about clothing, but I think if you make clothes, or if you're like an artist in some way, if it's not technically clothing, like if you're an artist in some way, I think giving back to charity is how they want you to use this energy. Like quite literally giving back to charity. And look at how cute they look as well. Either clothing or accessories, something. Look at how cute they look. I'm just saying. And I know that's so specific that it's like clothing or accessories. But look at all the pentacles everywhere. They look like little accessories in the picture, and she looks like she's posing. But it seems like what's the focus of the picture would be her clothes, or at least the boots. So that would be accessories if it's not clothing, right? Boots, purses, jewelry, wallets, hats, scarves, stuff like that. And look at the way he looks like he's presenting right here. And it looks like it's almost the same person, but he's a little bit more dressed up. Look at his clothing here. He's got a little bit of a Johnny Depp feel to this card. I'm not even going to say any more about that, but, you know, there's something about the clothing. And it's the top hat also in both cards. So maybe hats, I don't know. Anyway, I know that's really specific. But if it's not like clothing or something, accessories or something like that, then you're just meant to communicate in some way, probably through charity. Maybe work with charity. Maybe you don't have to actually have a job. Maybe you are one of the lucky people who is independently wealthy, or maybe, you know, you have a job that makes you able to either start a charity of your own or something like that, right? But there's something about charity here. Maybe a clothing charity, or bringing, you know, clothes so that everyone can feel beautiful, so that they don't feel left out or rejected or something like that. Especially with this Five of Pentacles here, because that's what that energy is rejection, feeling a lack. So maybe trying to bring cute, fashionable clothes to people, or even kids, because we have kids over here with the grays. So bringing fashionable clothing to kids who, you know, can't afford it or something, or maybe, you know, their parents aren't able to buy them school clothes or something like that. All right, so now we've got the Two of Probes on the bottom of the deck. So this is, it really, she's holding the planet in her hands, but typically in the Two of Wands, because that's what that card is, it talks about like you have the world in the palm of your hands, but there's a decision that you need to make, or you have two different paths that you can go, or maybe you're waiting for support to come in some way. Like there's something where there's a choice that has to be made. Okay, so we've got the Six of Swords, the Ace of Probes and the Star, and it actually came out like this, but I do feel like it needs to be read this way. Either way that we read it, whether it's the Ace of Wands with the Six of Swords on this side, or you leave the Star on this side, the outcome is very positive, right? Very healing, whichever way you look at it. It's just that right now with the Ace of Probes from our very racy deck, you know, this is passion. That's what the Ace of Wands is about. It's about passion. Sorry, got to get the card back in the pictures. That would help if I was looking at the actual video screen, right? Anyway, so this is passion, and I don't mean to laugh like a 12-year-old. I can't help it. Like, you know, whatever, fun, something that would be fun. And so either way, follow your passion is what they're saying here. Whichever way you decide to go, because obviously it's probes, right? So it's basically, well, not really basically the same. One looks a little, well, all three look very different, but you have to decide between one or the other. Again, that could be a side message, although I do not mean for these to be love messages in any way. It's just, you know, something like maybe what you've been looking at, maybe whatever your choices are in terms of your job, like, these are your choices, but then here's your passion, which looks a little wild, right? It looks a little bit more exciting than those two, is all I'm going to say. Either way, whichever way you decide to go, it's leading to good things. Whether it's the Six of Swords, which leads you to something much better, right? Obviously, he's traveling to a better place, leaving behind something that probably wasn't so great. Which also, maybe that could be another thing. Maybe the charity where you're helping people with their clothing or something is something in a different country or where travel is involved. But then when you get to the Star, look at how happy she is, and she's in all that water, which is very healing. Right? It looks very serene and peaceful. So whichever one you choose, you'll be at peace with. And that's only for those who do have a choice. But I do think if you're watching this, and you know, you probably do have a choice to make. Okay, so we are definitely going to go ahead and move on to the charms, only because it's only about 30 minutes in, which is, I've had videos that are longer, so. All right. Let's go ahead and get these cleaned up. So the charms are going to tell us what is it that you need to be aware of over the next month, as opposed to, you know, like all of this is talking about like your entire life, right? But for the next month, what do you need to be aware of? Oh, I hardly picked up any. I wanted to get a huge handful and almost nothing came out. So interesting. Okay, so we're actually going to start, because I feel called right here. We'll get to that one in just a second. So with this $50 bill, the letter O, the hourglass, and then you've got the Libra charm that was upside down. But it's really the hourglass and the Libra charm that are kind of getting my attention because they're balanced, right? The sand only goes so far when you have it this way, but then once you turn it around, you can start the time over. So it's always balanced, right? Same thing with Libra, but also it could be that there's a Libra that you are not aware of or that you're not paying attention to that might be able to help answer some questions or might be able to help you in some sort of legal something or other, or educate you in some way, or help balance things out in some way for you. Libra is like the scales of justice as well, but the 9th house can be legal issues. So we do have the $50 bill. This is something maybe that something that might cost you a little bit. With the O, you know, this is 9th and 8th house. It could be something that's regarded to like joint resources. So this could be another person, place, or thing that would somehow affect it, or affect like the money. And the fact that I just accidentally tipped that $50 bill over, maybe there's somebody you can ask for money in regards to something. Whatever, this balance here, maybe a Libra that can bring some sort of, it's either education, travel, legal, something, right? We have the song, I Can't Tell You Why. Oh, it's exactly 110, if I can get you to see that on there. That's not going to focus. It's exactly 110 as I look at this, and it's the song I Can't Tell You Why from the Eagles. Interesting. So the 10th house here, we've got this piece of opalite, which it looks like a piece of clear quartz, but it's actually not. It's just a clear piece of opalite. And it's actually shaped in a square shape as well. And so that's important for a number of reasons. Number one, opalite is man-made. But this is man-made security, something very solid, something like a very solid foundation that you can set something on. You don't have to worry about it falling, right? Well, I mean, it might fall off the edge if it gets too close to the edge of that platform, but it's not going to fall through. That's a solid square. And so there's something solid, some sort of solid foundation that you've either made yourself or maybe someone else has made where they can help you with this. But this is coming out over your 10th house, which is your career. Maybe you've already got a solid foundation in your career that you've built. You've already built a solid foundation, and maybe now there's some sort of legal advice that you need in regards to that. And it could also be regarding something creative, as well as online, because of the 11th house here. But it doesn't have to be. It could be a creative pursuit with your friends or collaboration with your friends. Definitely creative, because we have carnelian and the guitar coming out together over the 11th house. So definitely something creative. And then you've got this piece of moonstone coming out over the 12th house, which tells me that you need to get more sleep, definitely. That's number one. But like, moonstone is very much connected to the moon, to the full moon, actually. Labradorite is more connected to the new moon, or black moonstone would be connected to the new moon. But this is regular moonstone, which would be like full moon. Or a manifestation, the culmination or the consequence of something that is being created. And I say consequence because this is the 12th house. The 12th house is those things that are hidden from you, those things that you hide from others. It's your fantasies, your dreams, what happens at night in dream time while you're asleep in your bed, right? Your actual dreams, but these are also your fantasies, the things that you dream about, and the consequences that come from all of those things, which can include like prison and hospitalization and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so you need to get more sleep, number one. But I think there's some sort of manifestation. I guess I should pay attention to the thing again so you can see the crystal. There's some sort of manifestation coming in that you don't see, that is a consequence of the rest of this stuff. For good or bad. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad thing. This is also a healing house. That's hospitalization. Hospitalization can bring healing, okay? And also dreams and fantasies can bring in abundance, and they can bring in wishes. So don't necessarily think that this is going to be negative, just because I said it's a consequence of. And so then coming over the 3rd house, you've got a piece of tourmalated quartz, which talks about being clear in your communication for your own protection, which can be a legal issue coming through again over here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and leave that here. I hope that resonates. If it does not, please watch for your sun, moon, or rising. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell your friends, anything you can to help me, and it really, really does help me. So I thank you very much for watching.